Hello everyone, and welcome to my little channel here called Vector Dream. Basically, I wanted to run through Viticulture. It's the strategic game of winemaking, and I wanted to run you through the Solitaire Variant. So what exactly is this game? It's worker placement, and you will be able to place workers on the board each round to take different actions while running your own vineyard. You're basically trying to make the best vineyard possible, or in the world if you want to think of it that way. So what's interesting about this game though is that it's different rounds which represent the different years that you're spending on your vineyard, and each round is broken up into different seasons like winter, summer, fall. I pretty much have the game already set up and ready to go, but I will explain a few things before we get started. And the first one I wanted to talk about is Tuscany. What is Tuscany? Tuscany is the expansion to Viticulture. The reason I bring this up is because you're going to need to actually own Tuscany or purchase Tuscany to get access to these Automa cards here. This is what is going to be used to power the AI player. If you flip this over, it basically just shows you what the AI player is going to do every season on its turn. So I'll go ahead and put that back here, and I'll reshuffle those in just a second. Also, what's great about Tuscany is you're going to get like multiple expansions. It's well worth the price. Not only that, you're going to get a new board for the game. It's an extended board. It's very nice. Very nicely done. Also, too, you're going to get some upgraded components like this metal money. With the original game, you get cardboard money, but this is so much nicer, and it just really adds value to the game. I'm thoroughly impressed, actually, with everything that I've gotten within this box here. So I highly recommend, if you're going to buy Viticulture, you might as well just go the extra mile and get Tuscany as well. At the time of this recording, you can get them both on Amazon. That's where I got it from. And also, too, I'd like to mention Watch It Played's YouTube channel. Rodney Smith did an excellent video on how to play Viticulture and how Tuscany works, and I highly recommend you watch those videos to get just a really better idea of how this works. But you'll learn as I play through the solitaire game here. So each one of these decks of cards represents something. These are vine cards, summer visitors, wine order cards, and then on the far right is the winter visitor cards. And you'll see that there's a discard spot for each deck of cards right next to it. I've picked orange for the Automa player, and I've set them here. You can set them anywhere near the board, but I put them here so that you can understand where I'm getting the workers from for the Automa player turn. Basically, I'll show you this real quick first. It's the Wakeup Chart, and in the regular game, this would be used to set the turn order of the game. So if you want to wake up early, you'll be the first player, but you won't get as good of a bonus to help you. If you want to wake up really late, you can actually get a temporary worker for that year to help you out. So it kind of helps offset the turn order a little bit. But in the solitaire version of the game, this is going to represent 7 years. So 1 through 7, and I have a glass token on each one of those. So as we play the solo variant, I'm going to place my rooster in a spot, get the bonus, and also take this token. So that represents that, okay, this is going to be, for example, the first year, but this also has another function. You can use this glass token to help with getting these bonuses. You can only go to the first spot. Since we're playing only a 2-player game, essentially, you can only go to the first spot on these action spaces. So if the Automa player goes here, you won't be able to go there unless you use the grande worker. But before I talk about that, I'm gonna just say that if I was to place a worker in here, to plant a vine card, I could, in the solitaire game, use this token as well to gain the bonus of this action space. So I could plant 2 vine cards. So that's just an example, and you'll see how that goes as I play the game. So I think I mentioned it already, but the Grande Worker would allow you to go to a spot that's already occupied. So I think I talked about that. So just real quick, the different actions in summer you can take are to give a tour. You can gain 2 lira. If you can use your bonus action token, you can gain an additional. This is to build a structure. So if you want to build different structures for your vineyard, like windmills and things, and I'll show you the player board in just a minute, and you'll see all the different structures there. Then this here is to plant a vine card. We're going to get vine cards from the deck up here, and we're going to be able to plant those cards in our field. This is sell 1 or more grape tokens, and this is to play a summer visitor card, and this is to draw a vine card. Alright, so now I'll show you the other side of the board just real quick. Here's the winter actions. Now, you want to be strategic, because if you put all your workers in the summer, you won't have anybody left over to help you in the winter. So, just real quick, this is to draw a wine order card. This is to harvest your field, just 1 field. This is to make up to 2 wine tokens. This is to fill wine orders. This is to train additional workers. And this here is to play winter visitor cards. Also too, if you see at the bottom here, there's a gain 1 lira. This infinite amount of workers can go here. Also too, I forgot to show one thing. This is the residual income track. So basically, you put your wine token here, and when you fulfill wine orders, sometimes it'll give you a residual income, which, let's say we earned 1. So every year, we're going to earn an additional lira at the end of the year phase, and you'll see how that works as we play. Alright. At the bottom of the screen here, you can see the victory point tracker. So as setup for the solitaire variant, I put my cork on the start space, and he's going to put his on the 20-point win spot. So what does that mean? That means that we have to win this game, we have to surpass 20 victory points. So we need 21 points or better to defeat the Automa player. And I gotta say, it's not as easy as it sounds, even on the lower levels here. So here's something I wanted to show. It's the Automa card that kind of shows that you can change the difficulty level of this as well. This says 1, 2, 3 expansions. There's actually a card here that goes all the way up to, there's 3 different cards. They essentially go all the way up to 9 expansions. So once you start adding expansions from Tuscany to the game, you can increase the difficulty accordingly. Also too, on the flip side of each of these cards is a hard mode as well, just making the game a little bit tougher. Plus, looking at this, there are 2 ways to set up the solitaire variant. The way I have it set up is the very basic standard way, but you could have a moving victory point tracker instead of a stationary one at 20, so we just have to get past 20 points to win. But you could also set it up to where he builds buildings every year, and these are the 7 years. You can see 1 through 7 there. So he would build a trellis in year 1 and score victory points for that, and so on and so forth. So he'll score victory points for every building in his vineyard as the game goes along. So you can set this up multiple ways. That's what I think is so amazing about the solitaire variant that they've created. It's one of the best I've seen for a game. I'm pretty excited about it. So also here, real quick, I want to show you the player board. So this is where you're going to be crushing grapes, making wine into your cellars, planting vines in your fields. I went ahead and selected the color blue for us, or my player here, and put all the buildings that you could possibly build to the left so that they're just easily available. And I'm going to put cards and things down here as we play along. So with that, I think that I won't say too much about this. You're just going to see how it works as I play. Okay, everybody, I'm going to draw the Mamas and Papas cards to get started. I've already shuffled these up, so I'm just going to go through here and just draw a random one. And let me grab a Papa card. Just going to grab a random one. Okay, so now I will flip these over. Basically how this works is your parents from, Tuscany have come and they wanted to give you an inheritance so that you could get started on your vineyard. So what does this do? So first we have to resolve this card. It says the mama will give us 2 regular workers, a summer visitor card, and 2 winter visitors. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those cards. Alright, so if we take a look at those, actually I got really good cards. The tour guide gains 4 lira when we play that card. Jack of all trades, choose 2 harvest, 1 field, make up to 2 wine tokens, or fill a wine order card. And Crusher, which says make up to 4 wine tokens. Just so you know, as a recap, you can only, when you do wine tokens, you can only make up to 2 with the action space, so this allows us to go 4. Alright, so that goes here. Let me push this up a little bit. Okay, so the Papa card is going to give us 3 lira. He's also going to give us 1 grande worker. And we get a choice. We get a medium cellar or 4 lira. I think I'm going to go ahead with the medium cellar, actually, because you kind of need that to fulfill most wine orders. So let's see what happens with that. And so now the Mamas and Papas leave. They are gone. They are just there to help with setup. It is the first expansion that you get with Tuscany. Okay, I have organized my player area and I'm ready to get started on the first year of our vineyard.